All right. Hey, boys and girls, let's welcome back to the Retain and Gain episode number 5, the Big 5. I'm Larry Bruce.
And I'm Rob Mudd.
And today we're going to talk about your overall advertising, marketing, and sales strategy. Have you ever asked your ad partner to explain it? So I'm going to ask you. Have you ever had somebody ask you to explain that?
No, I've never had a dealer ask me that, but I have explained to the dealer many times of what our strategy is and why that we believe that that will work for you. But I think that's even a more pertinent question today, because who do you ask that question of? Because there isn't, that's not true. A lot of guys are utilizing ad partners, multiple ad partners, right?
Yeah.
Siloed off.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And so when you're siloed, you can't answer that question.
Yeah, I would think that would be that I could see that. Yeah, I mean, if you're acting as the agency of record, you should be able to answer that.
But I don't know if
you should be directed that question.
I don't know.
Right?
Yes, but depending on what OEM you're with, and depending on if your agency is a digitally approved to do co-op, that is a big differentiator, right? Mm-hmm. And if you are in the program, most likely you have another agency along with the provider that's preferred to get your co-op. And so as soon as you have those two entities living siloed,
right,
it's very difficult to find answers and get the right mix, or just to get the right info, because they're not working together.
Yeah. I mean, my first thought would be that if I'm the dealer, I would think that the dealer's first thought would be, well, what does my sales strategy have to do with my marketing and ad strategy? And those things are mutually exclusive, or at least a lot of people think they are.
But they're not at all.
Not even close.
No, they're aligned. They need to be aligned.
They have to be aligned.
Absolutely. Right?
What happens, the experience I have online, the experience I have on my advertising and my marketing has to translate down to the floor.
Yes.
Right?
Across all channels at the same time.
Across all channels, yeah, for sure. So first tactical thing to take from this is that these things have to be aligned: advertising, marketing, sales. And every time I say sales, I don't mean just selling a car. I mean selling anything, car, service, parts, that experience that comes, that you want to get. The way to get it impressed the most with the customer, or impressed upon the customer the most, is physically in person with them at the store. Your marketing is going to set them up for an expectation of that experience. But if you don't translate it all the way through, it won't last, and they'll be very disappointed. So that sales experience, the floor experience.
Well, I believe that disappointment is rampant among the dealer body today, because I believe that unless they have one unit that is doing that function, they're going to be disappointed. Yeah. Because the one guy will say something that doesn't collaborate with the other guy's actions, right? Because they all have to work together in unison. And it's challenging. I mean, it's very difficult.
Yeah. I would hope, I would want to try to take it up one level, right? And to almost a 500,000 foot view, and say, look, you guys that are marketing online, you 2 or 3 providers that I might have. One of them might be an OEM guy that I've got to have, right? If it's
for co-op.
Yeah, for co-op, right? So you guys, your job is to collect in-market customers collect leads, names, email address, mobile numbers, of people that are hand raisers right now. So your job is to collect me hand raisers, all right? Then I've got another marketing. My other part of my marketing is your job is to take care of the hand raisers, answer questions, and get them in the store. And then the store, the sales, your job is to greet that customer and roll that experience all the way through. So, it was interesting. I had, I get on this clubhouse. I'm down to one clubhouse call that I think has value. And it's all things used cars. David Long, never met David, but David, shout out. I love that clubhouse meeting. It does have a lot of value. And they talked about marketing and marketing's role. And I think it was the theme of it was, it's all marketing's fault. And
marketing and advertising aren't the same thing.
No, not by advertising is what you say to the market
Correct.
About your
Correct.
about your
Yep.
business.
Yep.
Marketing is what you say to the customer about what they want to do.
Correct.
Right.
It's inverted. One's a outreach, and the other is based off an interest.
Yeah.
Right? And then how do you?
To a degree, yes. I mean, I think you're trying to either inferring that they might have interest, or they've raised their hand. They said they do have interest.
Here's what I've been saying to our folks is, I haven't done this yet,
Right.
but I would like to. I'd say, hey, Mr. Dealer, if you don't hire us for everything, we're not going to do anything, because I know that sounds bold, but you only want one throat to choke, and I want to be able to increase your opportunities.
Right.
And the only way to do that is to know what all is going on in the opportunity business that we're executing on your behalf. And unless you can do all of that, it makes it challenging, because everybody's fighting for the dollar then, right? And I believe, after 45 years of doing this stuff, that you need to have a partner that understands your business, Mr. Dealer, understands the ecosystem of marketing and advertising today, understands digital and the place for it, understands traditional. People say, "Oh, traditional? Are you kidding me?" Well, no, I'm not kidding you at all.
100% has a place. If you're nuts if you're not.
Yeah, and the people that would sell against that, they're not after your best interests. They're after theirs, right?
Well, they're trying to sell their
100%.
widget, their piece
that's
of it, right?
And it seems so simple to me, but the fear, FOMO, right? Fear of missing out, right? There's basics here in this business.
There's nothing new under the sun. Nothing new.
And it starts with an audience or a targeted list or whatever you want to call those people that you're going to reach out to. And in broadcast, it was considered a waste. Well, the reach is as far as that message will travel. That was the reach.
Right.
And however many times you could touch someone, that was the frequency. And if you could measure that based off a time of when that campaign started and when it ended, and if you are keeping your up count, you should see an increase in ups.
Sure.
That's basic, right? But that basic tenet hasn't left.
Right.
It's just, how are you doing it today? I've got 5 different vendors that are selling me or saying the same thing, or the same time period, is trying to take credit for execution that they performed. That gets complicated.
Yeah. I mean, and everybody's trying to get their hand in the other guy's deal. Everybody's trying to get their hand in the other guy's budget. It's nuts.
Do you think that dealers like that? Do some guys want to pit their vendors against each other and have a cage match or something?
I've heard that here and there, but it doesn't. I never did it, and I never wanted to do it.
No,
I mean,
it's
realistically, what I wanted to do was overpay my marketing people, because if they're doing their job well, I'm making really good money.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So that never happened. But, the thing that struck me on this clubhouse thing was, they were having trouble translating the marketing message, the offers, etc., from the marketing department to the sales team. And, back in my day, we called that a cut sheet. Right?
Yep.
Whatever was on whatever's going in the newspaper.
You knew what it was about. You knew what it was.
Every salesperson got a copy.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
But even past that, we always handed our marketing team always handed the salespeople a copy of
what's going on
of the
campaign,
the offers in the campaign, what's being given to the customer, so that when the customer came in, this is a part of the experience, boys and girls. Right? I mean, let's, customer comes in and says, "Hey, I'm looking for that $199, Tercel you've got." You better know, hey, let me show you right where it is.
Right.
It can't be, oh, hey, Bill, you know anything about it? It can't be that. That can't be the experience. Because
No,
if that's
it
the
can't be.
experience, then you killed the whole thing. And again, it wasn't on your website. Your website actually started the experience. Your floor killed it.
Yeah, because the floor doesn't know or isn't looking at their website all the time to see the change.
Right.
And if you don't communicate it, and if you've got
That's got to be the
vendors,
morning. That's the morning sales huddle.
Yeah, and so what you actually do is you've created more work, so to speak, for the managers, right? Because now they're traffic cops.
Yeah.
They're traffic cops. They got to know where the stop sign is and where the go sign goes. It makes it cumbersome.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Now, easy for me to say when at Mud Advertising, we provide every tool, every possible channel. We got it covered, right?
Yeah.
We do it all, everything. So when I hear these conversations, I'm like, what the hell are they talking about, man? That is so jacked up.
Yeah, but you got to provide the cut sheet. You got to give. You got to give the
But
dealer.
what I mean by that is because we do everything, because our sole focus for 45 years has been the car business.
Right.
These conflicts or challenges that are popping up seem to me to be totally irrelevant. They don't need to.
Yeah, the conflicts
exist.
between channels, the conflicts between messages, just you don't have to worry about that when you're implementing the whole thing.
When you implement,
and then that's a whole nother discussion in and of itself that we should have here in a second. I'm just saying, let's get tactical at the floor level. Your marketing team's they're coming up with marketing ads, offers, there are things on your website, $199 payments, whatever. That all should be in a document handed to the sales manager by the second of the month.
Yeah.
The sales manager hands that out to the salespeople. I'd laminate the thing, tell them to put it on their desk.
But here's the issue with that. It's not the issue with it. It's the environment that we live in today. Is that change on the web can happen instantaneously, right? And depending on where a guy is in the month with his inventory, he'll get heavy on. Well, let's put more money down on the Silverado, right? That it's got age on it.
Sure.
And so you're never able to communicate the plan because the plan changes daily by people inside the business that knee-jerk reaction, get nervous, or don't have the plan to begin with in the month and run it out.
Yeah, right? I mean, from my standpoint, that I totally get it. This has been brought up. I'm just just start with the laminated analog. Give them something,
right?
No
doubt about it.
Start somewhere.
A calendar that says
when you want to get really fancy.
Yeah.
You want to get really fancy. I mean, we built it into our app. I mean, literally, the app. You just pull up the vehicle and it'll tell you all the specials that are on it, along with all the manufacturer's rebates. And I mean, you just tap on the car and it tells you everything you need to know. I mean, we can get really fancy and really digital, but and those things are great. And believe me, if you want them or you have them, you want to take advantage of them. If you don't, get a hold of us. We'll help you. We can certainly help you there. But even if you don't do that, just print off a cut sheet.
Yeah.
And get it to your sales staff. At least then you're starting the process,
Correct. Right?
Yeah.
Because if they don't know, they don't know.
Yeah, they don't know. Right.
And if they get on the phone call, we listen to phone calls.
Yeah.
And it's great when you hear the person say, hey, I got this mail piece. And the salesperson says, yes, we sent that out to the best of our accurate customers. You must be one of them.
Now they feel good. Now that's the experience.
That's
got nothing to do with your website.
Nothing.
It's the experience. And so it's
then
not
the
digital.
payoff
It's
works.
not technological.
No.
It's just a word track. And how many ad companies do you know that give the word tracks to their dealerships?
Very few. Very few.
Everything we've ever installed, I had word track for everything that would make it work, right? And I think it's important. I mean, we used to get all the time with our mobile app when we go to greet the customer. How do I roll in to collecting the customer's information? And we're I'm looking at it going, okay, yeah, it's not that the salesperson doesn't want to collect the customer, that they don't know what to say. So tell them what to say. Give it to them. So, we turn around and say, well, what can we do? Well, what does every salesperson want? Well, every salesperson wants to give their card to them. So let's build a digital business card into the app. Boom. That helps out. Then
the 5 steps to the sale, the meet and greet. That's
the first
all
one,
right. It's all there.
Exactly. And then, but then you've got CRM providers. You've got all these guys that want these guys to collect information at the time they take the up. And they're not giving them the way to do it. They're giving them the process. Here's the tactical way you go. How you
ask for it.
Here's the how-to. But don't give me the how-to. Give me the how come, right? How do I get the customer, make the customer understand that this is part of the process?
Here's
right?
the how.
Right. So, what's wrong? So finally I just asked one of the sales guys, what's wrong with, hi, welcome to ABC Motors. I'm Larry Bruce and you are great to meet you. Is this welcome in or welcome back?
It's welcome in.
What do I know now?
That's the first time I've been here. Exactly.
And I would love to take credit for that, but I can't.
No, I remember you told me who did.
This actually goes to a lady at Ride Now Power Sports. Her name is Blackman. Anyway, that's her greeting, and
that's a great greeting.
That is the greatest greeting in the car business, bar none, and it's not even from the car business.
It's from a retail person that knows how to communicate what's important to be welcomed welcome
when
back.
we started giving our salespeople that, we started getting more, right? And then we gave the business card, they started getting more, right? So you want to get your salespeople to, again, that transition from advertising to marketing to sales.
Yes.
All of this is the experience, and that's why these things are all connected.
Yeah, and I can only speak to what we do, and I can assume what others might do, which isn't a good thing to do.
Right.
But what you just said is something that's just, of course we do that. Of course you do that. Of course you do that. Why? Of course you tell the people that are going to be working the floor what is going on.
Right. What specials do you
we
have?
assume it's like tying your shoes in the morning.
Right.
Do I have to tell you to do it, or do you do it? Are we de-evolving to where we have to get back?
We are. Because and people want to blame it on COVID, but this was going on long before COVID. No, I'm not buying. I'm not giving you that excuse. Sorry, not gonna happen. You guys, we got lazy during digital.
Right.
We turned this into a dry transaction that the customer drove, and all we did was we literally turned ourselves into order takers.
Yep. And instant gratification.
Yeah.
The dopamine of the phone, right? The psychological dopamine of seeing something instantaneous on a screen, right?
So we got to get back to, and I think we are. I think we are getting back, at least from our standpoint. We're getting back to. We're going to give you that word truck on the phone. Oh, you must be one of our best Acura customers who got that offer.
Right. Simple.
Oh, great. Yeah,
right.
Simple. But I told you what to say instead of saying, yeah, what do you like about the mill piecer?
Right.
I
don't know anything about it. What are you talking
about? Even worse, right? Oh my God, even worse. Here's what you say, and then So is your marketing and your advertising company responsible to do that? Absolutely.
If you have one. But again, I get back to the guys that have siloed everything out and sit in their tower with all these screens and try to figure it out. Good luck, man. It's mind numbing, and it will be. But those guys can't be effective. And so if you got a GM that wants to do that, Mr. Dealer, you need to reevaluate because there isn't enough time in the day.
If you want the experience. If you want to manage the experience, right?
Yeah, and if you want to sell more cars, and you want to do a better job, what I like to say is, fellas, if we get a new account, here's our bogey: the guy before us.
Yeah,
right,
right.
So whatever we do, we have to make sure that we're outperforming the guy that showed up before us.
The guy that just got fired.
That would be that guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And usually it comes down to ROI.
Right.
And you can work your way backwards.
Right.
And then it's understanding
But it's all the little things that help
yeah.
get that ROI. It's here's the cut sheet.
Yep.
Here are the word tracks. Here's the word track for greeting. Here's the word track for when you get a call for the mail. Here's how you get the email address. Here's how you get the mobile number.
Mr. Dealer, what do you think we should do? Payments or price?
Gee, that's a hard question.
Hey, I bet you, I see pricing everywhere. I never see payments anymore.
It's hard. You don't see it anymore.
You don't.
Right.
And people buy payments. Jim taught us to go. People are loyal to payments. Why? Because they have a disposable income. Wants and needs are two different things. The wants is a big list. The need is this list. And that money goes to the need list, right?
First.
Always.
Right.
That's why they have the first of the month, the 15th. Second half of the month's always usually better because disposable income. These are just common Norman cultures that the business is taught because everything's about the money.
Yeah.
Either in a credit score.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know why there aren't more payments on the website.
Ease of use, because all these guys have to go through the same clearinghouse for the website, right? And they get someone on the phone. It is big box companies working with mom and pop or family owned businesses.
But you could put we used to do all the time. We would look at the manufacturers' incentives that were coming out.
Yeah.
And how could we configure a vehicle in such a way that it would be the lowest possible payment that we could, and that became the special on the website.
Right.
You kind of see those on crazy things called Amazon, where they have, hey, here's the special of the week.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You've seen that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You guys
of course. I mean, it's retail 101.
Right.
101.
What's wrong with sticking that on the homepage of your website?
There isn't. I would do that.
Sell $199.
Right.
The Prius deals in Colorado. Buy them for $5 a month.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
The home of the 50 Prius or the home of the Dodge Ram or the home of some product, right?
Yeah.
That's your USP that we talked about
earlier. That's another unique selling proposition. I'm the guy.
What do you want to be known for?
Right.
I want to be known as the guy that has all the trucks.
Like in 1998, it was around 97, 98. When I was running the stores in Marietta, Georgia for Bob Davis. If you're still alive, Bob, good to see you. I'd love to catch up again. Yeah, Chief. Or I always called him Chief. And but anyway, when I was running those stores for Bob, and actually, I guess it was 95 then. Anyway, long story short, Wachovia Bank had come out with a lease on 12 months on a GMC Suburban. The residual value was 82%, and you could get like a 3-point bump. So it was 85%, right? And
12-month lease?
12-month, right? And then you could sell, they would carry 125% of MSRP.
Yeah, so you can roll in equity over it.
Yeah, so realistically, here's what could happen. You could buy the vehicle for 125% of MSRP, or finance 125% of MSRP. Do this 12-month lease. Take the entire amount all the way down to invoice and pay every single payment and drive a Suburban for free for 12 months. Every one of us had a free Suburban for 12 months.
Explain that again.
So they would carry 125% of MSRP.
Yep.
From cost to 25% of MSRP was about $25,000 and would make every payment.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you drove a Suburban. You could theoretically, if you're willing to sell the Suburban for nothing, drive a Suburban for free for a year.
Yep.
For basically all financed by Wachovia at that time. And
I remember Mitsubishi did that same thing.
Oh well, they gave you deferred payments for 2 years.
Right.
They wish they
never done that.
Because 2 years is a long time for a car to disappear.
Well, yeah, and to know that to crystal ball it and say I got the residual right on it.
Oh, it wasn't even. No, these things were. They never even got them back.
Remember the Nissan Frontier when they did the 12-month lease on the Frontier?
Yeah,
I think it was like $99 a month for 12 months.
Right.
It moved a lot of trucks, but
they lost their ass.
almost put them out of business.
Yeah,
I think it was GE Capital that did that.
Yeah, that was a tough gig. But that was, but things like that, right?
Yeah.
We never really advertised that, but we were all driving Suburbans for free.
But those are how you get unique offers.
Yes, that's
right?
how you get unique offers, unique selling propositions. That's what your marketing department's supposed to be doing, or your marketing partner is supposed to be doing, right? That's their job. And what happens was we turn these marketing departments over to people that understand pay-per-click and understand clicks and leads and cost per lead. And that's all fine, except for where's the creative, your proposition? Where are you getting creative? Where are you getting your edge? That
I don't think
they
can get the edge if they don't understand the business. So if you're not teaching people why people buy payments,
right,
and understanding why people buy, you're going to have an $87,000 Dodge Ram pickup on your front of your website.
Yeah, that's
right?
good. That's what I want to see. Right. An $87,000 Dodge truck. Yeah,
right.
Let me hurry up and run right down and buy that.
And so it's baffling to me who's giving them the advice to do these
they're
things.
Not.
They're not.
I think they're just coming up with it because I got to have a price on the website. I got to have something on the homepage. Here, throw this up there. And no one's thinking about how do I get in the psychological mind of the customer and get them to want to do business with me.
Correct. Yes.
But that was the ad agency's job back in the day.
I remember when we did colors, and the colors represented payments, right? Mm-hmm. And you had the red, green, blue sale.
Right.
Simple stuff, but it was based off had nothing to do with price. It had everything to do with the payment, right? And how you then got there was cash down, cash for trade, whatever. But it was the payment zones,
right?
The 1, 2, 3 payment zones. That's like when you rent a car and you go to Enterprise,
right?
And they go pick one.
Yeah,
this is that group. This is this group.
Right.
That's that group. Go pick one.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
That's what you do. Right. Well, that's the same thing with payments. There's all kinds of, not tricks, but strategy on how you do that stuff.
And how you help the customer have a good experience.
I haven't looked at a bureau or a credit score or pulled one forever. So I don't know what, well, I do. But I don't know the percentages of how low the credit is showing up at dealerships today and how that's kind of changed and how they read it based off what COVID did to the credit. Mm-hmm. But a payment is a credit score, and a credit score is a person that wants to buy a vehicle, and the vehicle then can be obtained by them and what they can borrow. Mm-hmm. That's a car deal, right? It's always been one, always will be one.
Just about. I mean, you're going to have your cash buyers, but they're not. They're not even close.
The credit union got a check.
Yeah.
Right. So I get back to what you said earlier. Maybe it was a couple podcasts back. Is what is your PMA? Not defined by the OEM, but defined by
your
where customers are coming from.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you. Just look at the deal jacket. What are the payment structures?
Yeah. You could 100% tell from your DMS data where your average payments need to be, or where your buckets need to be.
Exactly, and that's what the great thing about AI is put a Gemini layer on top of that and look at your inventory.
But that's got to be that. I mean, that doesn't even need to be AI. That's just one of our
common. Right.
Well, that's the why. Again, that goes into the why. There are 5 W's in your marketing, right? There's the where. Mm-hmm. Where do I sell? Mm-hmm. Then there's the when. Mm-hmm. When do I sell best? What months of the sales by month of the year? Right?
Yep.
Then there's the what. What do I sell? What are my top 5 makes? My top 5 models? What do I sell? Then there's the why. Who do I sell to? Rather, sorry. The who. What's the breakdown of my CDP? What are my leases coming due? Purchases coming due? Where am I? Where am I getting? Where do I have the most mobile numbers? Where do I have most email addresses? What's my existing service customer did not buy? What do my segments look like? Mm-hmm. That's the who, and then there's the why. Why people buy, and one of the reasons the why people buy is payment.
payment.
Yeah, that's a part of that why.
And the part is a need, right? You got need buyers, you got want buyers. Want buyers aren't payment driven. They're what do I want driven.
Right.
Need buyers are payment driven because I need a ride.
I need a ride, right.
And I need a ride that'll get me here to there, and I need it under this number because that's all I have.
Sure.
That's the masses of everybody we talk to today. That's most everybody.
Yeah.
And
no
why we've lost that mindset. Jimmy Ziegler, people buy payments. People buy payments.
Always.
Yeah.
And what's funny is that I don't know how. Somewhere in there, we lost it.
I know,
and I'm really trying to understand where do we stop.
I think it happened with the websites, and it got cumbersome to pencil out payments. And
I guess.
What else could it be? I mean, someone had to get lazy to not do it any longer.
Oh,
right?
I mean there's no other explanation. Right? So so if we're talking tactics here, we're talking. Hey, look, have a cut sheet.
Yep.
Whether it's a printed cut sheet, digital cut sheet, but have a cut sheet. Your marketing, whoever your marketing partner is, whoever your advertising partner is, should supply that cut sheet to you. They should help you with the offers and then supply you with the cut sheet. If they're not, you need to question your partner because they're not helping.
They're not helping.
They're just placing ads digitally for you.
Right.
And
taking credit for every deal that comes down the pike,
I guess.
Because somewhere they saw that ad.
Right.
I mean, it's ludicrous.
And that takes me to another pet peeve of mine that just drives me nuts is that if you've got a marketing partner with you and they say, what do you want to do? You need to get out.
Right.
If I knew what I wanted to do, I wouldn't need you.
Right. And they should be telling you let's look at your inventory.
Right. Let's look at your inventory. Let's look at your PMA. Let's look at your list. Let's look at your CDP. They should have the data already ready. Here's what we want to do next quarter. Not here. What do you want to do next quarter? Here's what we suggest you do next quarter.
We always used to look at geographical barriers within a city, right?
Yeah.
A river, pond, whatever it is. You never hear those talks.
No.
Right? But that has a big deal.
Oh, yeah. I can remember distinctly one deal in Louisiana, literally this bridge from this dealer. I think it was one of the Bone brothers. Yeah, one of the Bone brothers. We were looking at his PMA, and I'm noticing that there's just like 5 miles from him, there's just this cutoff, this line where you're going, that doesn't seem right. Why would people just flat stop it? So I asked, I think it was Donnie. I asked Donnie, I was like, Donnie, why won't someone come from over here? And he's like, there's a bridge there, man. And people just flat won't cross that bridge.
Fred LaGreca, this dealer, Hamilton LaGreca in Hutchinson, Kansas, he would tell me this. I mean, I remember it because he beat it into us daily, really. Robert, draw triangle around here. This is where the folks come from. They come from the west and come to the east. They don't go from the east to the west. Okay, Fred. Okay, why? It's because of the shopping patterns and where they had to go find what they had to. And he was staunch about it, that we weren't going to advertise nothing
outside of that.
Nothing. Everything was going to be the west and move it to the east.
Right.
And he was a savant in understanding money buys GRPs. Mm-hmm. GRPs gets me ups. He knew how many GRPs he had to have to deliver 1,800 ups. He knew that he had a close ratio of 20% with 1,800 ups. He was going to get to 300 units, used cars, right? That was his deal. And every day he would pop, Robert, we need 1,800 GRPs to get 8. So it really equated to $1 per GRP, but it penciled for him, right?
Right.
And we did that for 8 years, and then he'd hire Jerry DeFalco, and Jerry would do it for a couple years, then he'd hire us back. But it was always the same story, always the same mantra, and it worked.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that same setup works for every deal.
It's in your data, right? It's 100% in your data.
Yep.
Your data for AIM data for just about every company I've ever started in automotive. I mean, we've always done the 5 Ws. Whether it was even for the CRM deals and it's the 5 Ws, because that basic 101 data is important for the dealer and will guide your marketing and advertising.
So we use the 4 M's.
Yeah.
Market, media, message, measurement. Every dealer's in a market. Every market has media that you have to use. Every media then has to have a message on that media.
Right.
And then you measure it. And
Right.
did it work? Right. And if you just, that basic can help you find answers to your rhythm, right? What is your process? And then you go back and look over time.
Right.
You look at the number one months of the year. They're still the same number one months of the year.
They don't
change.
They
don't change.
Right. So you know where to spend, when to spend, what to spend, who to spend it on, and why they're buying.
Yeah, I guess really in this day and age, there are only a few guys that are having these talks like we're having. I'd find them because those people know the business, and they will help you increase your sales because they know that you have a close ratio and you have salespeople. And those salespeople, even though you want them to get them to 20 cars, they're 15-car guys or 12-car guys, right?
Yeah. So to break down that strategy, make sure you have you're getting creative with the offers in your channels, right? Keep the offer the same through all channels. Everybody's everywhere, right?
Yep. Continuity.
Yeah, continuity. Make sure that whenever you get those offers, get a cut sheet out, get that information out to your sales staff. 100%. Make sure your partner isn't asking you what to do. He's telling you, or she's telling you, they're telling you what you should do.
You know, Larry,
there
might be. So why does that happen? That might happen because we have different sales teams today. We have a floor sales guy, we have an internet sales guy, and we have a BDC. So that makes I got to communicate.
You got one of these guys got to go. If not,
no doubt about it, right?
Yeah.
But the business has created all this fluff that never existed before, right? $700 to sell a car.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's nuts. I mean, $703 is not sustainable. That's just not going to happen. I don't know how we got there, but that's what NADA says. Data says we're at now, and that is unsustainable. You've got to get this back down to sub 500 a car, 100%. If you're not already there,
right? 100.
And the guys that are pushing it up to 700 a car, that are over 1,000 a car, stop that. Just quit it now. Quit.
The only thing I can think of is the stair step days, right? The guys are pouring it on to get their number, the boat, and
right.
But it still is not a good idea.
No.
Or you're just bad at what you're doing.
I don't know.
You're inefficient with what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, you got to get that down to below 500 a car.
And I'm an ad guy, so most guys, hey, bring it on. But no, you want to perform a service that shows the dealer, who is your partner, right? The dealer, that you are a good steward of his cash.
Right. Yeah. We should add that to the list of the tactics here. Find an agency or a partner or a marketing partner who's looking at you as a long-term thing. They're not coming. They're coming to shear the sheep. They're not coming to kill the pig.
Yeah, call me.
Come on.
I'd love to be your partner. We would love to be your partner and have a beginning and set the goals for the future and reach them.
Yeah. And when we're talking about partnership, when we're talking about partners, they get back to you. When you call, they answer. When you ask them to get back to you, they get back to you. They bring back the information they said they would bring back. Don't call yourself a partner if you can't support the dealer. You're not a partner. You're just a vendor at that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, but at the end of the day, there's no doubt that you got to find a partner that's going to bring ideas to you. Not ask you what the ideas are, and they're going to go execute it. That's not their job. Their job is to bring you ideas. So how? And
there's only so many different ideas here,
well,
right?
I mean, there's the ideas. And what I mean by ideas is okay, let's have 4 events a year.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
yeah.
And here's some
planning. Someone that does planning,
right?
And plans their plan and executes the plan, then measures the result of the plan and makes adjustments if needed.
Right. But that's a partner.
Yeah,
and that's
partner.
bringing to you a process and a plan,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And then, then you get payments. Just force it. Just tell the website, right? I don't care how lazy you are. I want payments. Payments.
That will differentiate you from your other dealers, right? Because
Many
you
of them.
can mess with the downstroke or the term.
Yeah. And if you can't get it done, if for whatever reason you just flat can't get there, make an offer on your homepage. Get your green, red, and orange payments.
There you go. Right.
Yes. And here, just put 3 vehicles on there. Here's the payments. You can at least do that. Just put your payments. Hey, and tell me we've got payment zones here. I mean, that's the easiest way to do this, right? Yeah. Easiest way to do this.
Hey, don't give up. We want them to come back and watch some more.
Okay. I think we've got lots more.
We do have lots.
We are. No one was ever looked at Rob or myself or who knows us would ever say those guys are not. They really don't have opinions. They're kind of just we're gonna say we're gonna have plenty of opinions. But by all means, we're not 100% right all the time. But you know what? We're 100% caring. And we're 100%. We will 100% change if it's not working.
And we've been in your business for a long time.
We've been around for a bit. And we love this business. Otherwise, we wouldn't stick around.
That's right.
Neither one of us has to do what we're doing.
We do it because we love to do it.
Yeah. So anyway, long story short, those are some tactics. Hopefully you take those away, get those done. And if you have questions, email myself, Larry at bdcbox.com.
Rob, R-O-B at mudd.com.
Right. Email us, call us.
1-800-367-6833.
Yep. So just give us a call, shoot us an email, whatever. We're happy to answer the questions. We're happy to help in any way we can. Whether you do business with us or not, doesn't matter.
Stick around and watch the next show whenever that show comes.
Here we go. So, and with that, we're going to say goodbye. Thanks again for watching.